G'day there, it's Chris from the Headache and Pain Management Centre, and today we are talking about one of the biggest mistakes that's made while treating the neck for headache and migraine. So today what we're going to be talking about is if you've had treatment on your neck before and it hasn't quite gone so well, here's a tip that you can look for with you and your health professional. And of course, if there's any questions, type in below and happy to answer them for you. So here is one of the biggest mistakes with treating the neck for headache and migraine. So what we do know is that the top three joints of the neck do transfer pain, transfer nerve signals, danger signals up into your brainstem, which can cause a headache or migraine to happen. The biggest mistake that's made when you are treating the top of the neck is not to consider that there's actually more of the neck that can contribute to it, otherwise known as the top and bottom of the neck. So what we do know is that the C23 joint is the main driver of what happens with headache and migraine. And quite often, you might have seen your chiro or physio that has treated, C1, C2, or C3 in the past, and it hasn't quite got the result long-term that you needed. Here's the reason. So even though C23 is the reason that headaches and migraines do happen, there's actually a whole bunch of muscles that connect into this C2 that run both down your neck and up into the skull as well. So the major mistake that we find when we see people coming in is that often their C23 is moving quite well, their OC1's moving quite well, but they've neglected to treat below that, so C3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So one thing that you may have done for headache before, and one thing that certainly my patients will know and love, is the retraction exercise. So the exercise that does something like that. So you're drawing the chin in towards yourself to get some movement into that neck to drive down the sensitivity of the neck for your headaches and migraines. But what happens if the muscles aren't strong enough to do that? Or what happens if the joints are too stiff to allow you to do that? What happens then? Well, what happens is that it gets a little bit better, but then it comes right back. Okay, so the headaches can come on, you do the retraction, it goes away, and then the headaches come back on in a day or two. So what's the solution? How do we actually sort that out? So here's the thing. Here is the whole neck that's here on the screen. So you can see that C2 is here, tucked away under the skull. There's a whole bunch of muscles that run down the side. So the really important thing that is often missed when people have had their upper neck treated is neglecting to strengthen the muscles that go down both sides of the neck to actually allow you to draw that neck back more often and with more power and more efficiency. So often when you have a lot of headaches, it's because of this forward head posture. But when you have strength in the muscles that run down the sides of the neck, the endurance of those muscles actually increase. So you're actually in a better position just at rest than you otherwise would be, because you've got more muscle there, you've got more strength there, you've got more muscle spindles all joining in there, so that you're sitting in a nicer position without really needing to think too much about it. So when you've got a stronger set of muscles that go down the back of your neck, it allows you to be in that much better position for your headaches. So even though those joints down here and those muscles down here don't directly link into the head, there we go, that's a blooper for you, Taylor. When we then strengthen those muscles, you can get into the position where you're able to then sit there for a lot longer. The second thing you can do is not just strengthen the muscles, but make sure that you've got joint movement in those joints that are either side as well. So when you do move those joints from C3 all the way down to even T2, 3 or 4, so even down to sort of this part of your upper back, functionally that is part of your neck as well. So if you're doing an exercise for your neck or it's feeling kind of better but it's not quite there, quite often what people complain of is that they've got this pain that goes down the sides of the neck, or perhaps like in the top of their shoulders, right in the middle, kind of in through here. It feels like it's tight and stiff through there, even though the top of the neck can feel a little better. What you can do there is you can move the joints so that they're getting into more extension. So you're getting a bit more movement with those joint surfaces from C3 down towards T2, 3 and 4. So if you combine those two together, you combine the muscle strength of those muscles connecting from C2 down into those sort of lower reaches of your neck so they're more endurance, and then secondly get the joints moving underneath those so you've got more extension so you can get up taller. It reduces the risk of those headaches and migraines coming back, because you're using the joints, using the muscles to your, if you like, competitive advantage to get your posture better, to get the movement back further, to get that endurance better, to decrease the risk of those headaches and migraines happening. Hey, I hope that's been really helpful. We've got another video coming tomorrow for National Headache and Migraine Week as well, so stick around for that. But I hope that's been helpful. Type into the comments below if there's any questions, and we'll see you again soon. Cheers and bye for now.